Hey guys, thanks for joining me. What I wanted to do is make a follow-up video on the M&P 45 Shield. We did a size comparison between the 45 and the 9mm in an earlier video. I actually did get time to get this out to the range last weekend. We put about 250 rounds through it and worked out a few of the kinks or a few of the issues I had with it when I first got it out of the box. One thing was that this slide stop here was so tough to release that I was actually thinking about filing down the edge just a hair or taking a little bit off of the slide stop to make it usable. My wife was not able to release the slide on the 45 Shield when she first got it. After we put about 100 rounds through it, it felt like it worked its way out, and now it's a lot easier to manage. It's not like it was. One thing I did realize with the 45 that I didn't realize in the comparison was they did put some serrations up here, and I've seen some new videos on YouTube of the M&P full size, the 2.0 version, and they do have that same cutout, so it must be a new thing with their new, basically like a new gen. So the grip texture is great. It's way better than the original M&P style. They put that more aggressive texture in there. It basically filled it in the fronts, the sides. This is the 9mm here, and I basically did something similar. I didn't really want to, but my dog chewed my grip, so I had to sand it down and put something on there and not make it look too terrible. It's about 3 days old. My dog decided he thought it'd be funny to make it a toy. So looking at the two side by side, they're basically identical. It's kind of scary to think that this is a 45 with such a large caliber and then this is just a 9mm, but they did a great job keeping the dimensions the same, because that's why most people like the Shield. If you're going to get it, it's because it's thin and it's a single stack, so they managed to keep basically their tradition of this gun exactly the same. The 45 obviously is just a hair thicker. You'd actually have to put calipers on it to see the difference. The sights are the same, the grip angle, everything's the same. The triggers are the same, but the 45 is lighter. The 45 is pulling about 5.5 pounds. The 9mm is pulling about 6.5 pounds. They do make, Apex does make a duty carry for both of these guns. It's an easy drop-in, and Apex makes great triggers. I don't think it drops the weight down a whole lot, maybe a pound. I think it's maybe around 4.5 pounds or 5 pounds. So it's not a great weight reduction, but it's more or less cleaning up the trigger, any slop or anything. But I'm pretty happy. This trigger is pretty nice. So they have their normal M&P serrations. It does come with a same as a Shield. It's got the short mag, which carries 6+1. The larger mag is 7+1. We went over that. And if you're going to buy this for a woman, maybe your woman's different than mine, but my wife had a hard time with this gun. It is quite a bit more snappy considering it's a 45. I guess we should assume that. But for a woman to carry this, or at least my wife, I don't think it's a good idea. She was flinching pretty bad. She was getting pretty good muzzle flip, and it actually got to the point where she didn't want to shoot it anymore. So if you're thinking about buying this for your wife or something, or a sister, you may want to go with a smaller caliber, unless she's an advanced shooter or somebody that shoots quite often. My wife does shoot a lot. We shoot at least once a week, sometimes two, and we typically shoot a couple hundred rounds a weekend through pistols. So she's not a newbie to shooting pistols. She likes a Glock 19. She feels comfortable with that. I just tried to get something a little thinner for her so she can carry it. She works as a bartender, and they kind of have to wear tight stretched pants, and they can't wear belts, and they kind of have screwy rules. So definitely the 45 wouldn't be for her. It's definitely a guy's gun. Between the two, I guess it's just preference of caliber. If you're a 9mm guy, you're going to go with a 9 Shield. If you're a 45 guy, you're going to go with a 45 Shield. The trigger is better. The breakdown is the same. Flip your lever, and you can flip the yellow tab inside, or you can dry fire. I just dry fire it. And if you look at the two, they did beef up the rails, which is probably understandable, seeing you're shooting a 45 caliber, which has a little more punch. So you can see the 45 rail over here, a little longer, a little thicker. But other than that, I mean, the size of the frame. You just got just a hair longer. Grip size is pretty close to being the same. I don't know if you could see that. It's like basically just the base plate width here. That's how much longer the 45 is. So all in all, they're both awesome guns. Me personally, I am a 9mm guy. I've always been. I feel comfortable with a 9mm. If you bought the 45, I don't think you're going to go wrong. Both guns are awesome. The more you shoot them, the better you're going to like them. Takedown is the same. If you wanted to put a trigger in it, basically just punch out your pins, one here, one here, one here, and it's pretty simple to add. And me personally, I wouldn't change the trigger out in this. I like this better than the 9mm trigger the way it came. Maybe the newer version shields will have the same trigger. Basically the wall and the brake feels the same. It's just trigger pull is just maybe a pound lighter. The safety, I had no issues on this. It's pretty flush. The only way you'd have an issue on this is if you put the safety on, you drew the gun, and you forgot that the safety was on, which I'm sure happens quite a bit. So if I had the choice, I'd get it without the safety. And other than that, it's a great gun. Big ol' so. All right, guys. I'm gonna roll a few clips of us shooting. And if anybody purchased a gun, I don't think you went wrong. So it's a great. All the M&P line is pretty sweet. Oh, one more thing. This is the Galco holster I was talking about in the video. I couldn't remember what it was called. It's called the Double Time. And basically what it is you get these belt loops. You can wear it inside the waistband, or you can flip the belt loops around on the outside. You can wear it outside the waistband. It is adjustable. It has an adjustable little screw over here, and it's got a rubber washer in there. This is what it's made for, the 9mm shield. I've been carrying this for about 2 years now, and it just so happens that the 45 fits in this also. I'm not sure if Kydex, if it was perfectly molded to this gun, if it would work. It does feel like the only thing that's buttoned up is I think the trigger guard is a little thicker on this. The size is just by looking at it, I can tell the trigger guard is bigger. It's a little wider. But it does work in this. If you had something like this, you'd be able to run it. And it is adjustable, so if you wanted to open it up a little bit, you could. But the retention is good on this. I used it at the range that day, and I had no problems with it. So I'm not sure if that'll work with all holsters, but it does work with this one. So if you do have something similar, it may work, especially if it's adjustable. You could just open it up just a hair. It does feel like it's rubbing just a bit on the trigger guard here, up underneath here. So the trigger guard is just a hair thicker, and if you do have the adjustability on your holster, you shouldn't have any problem at all. So great gun. And we did shoot 180 rounds of full metal jacket. I think it was a Blazer. We shot a couple boxes of the Hornady Critical Duty, and I had a couple boxes of Federal HST, and we had no stoppages at all. So typical from the M&P line. Great guns. So thanks for watching. Full size mag. Get a little longer handle, but it feels like the same.